Alright guys, we've just got a bit of handheld here, so I'm going to start roughing out for the crank arm slot next, and I've just marked these out on the marking out table, and you might notice I did them the wrong way to start with. These are the ones here we're going to be running with, so I'm just going to use this 50mm diameter cutter just to rough it out, get it up close to the inside lines. And then we'll set that at 7 degrees and we'll do the cleanup to these lines here. So look, this is only rough, it's only clearance, so I'm just going to be using a little pointer gauge with a bit of blue tack just to run along that line to get that angle set. And you might notice too, I've cheated a little bit. I've actually set this back up in the lathe and just given the bores, the large bore and the rear bore, just a little rub with a bit of emery just to take out the machining mark. So that's come up really good. Alright, so we'll get set up and we'll start machining that slotting. Alright, so we've zeroed this out, so we're going to go down 9mm and we'll get this roughed out to start with, and then we'll re-angulate that. I've got it held down with my finger clamp through the small bore, and I've got the tapping block down inside the T-slot up against one edge, so it's locked in there pretty tight. Right, we'll set that up on the parallels so that we can angulate that. I can't do it at the moment, obviously, because the tapping block is sitting down inside the T-slot. So we'll lift that up. We'll get that first one aligned, and we'll set up probably with a carbide end mill, and we'll get that cleaned back. Alright, I hope you can see this okay. So all I've got is a bit of wire that I use a bit of blue tack just to hold it on the quill or on the tool holder, and just by eye line it up and run it through. And gosh, you know, that is spot on that line. That's as close as I got by marking it out by hand, so I'm fairly happy with that. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this cut back to the line, machine down to depth up to this side, then we'll rotate the 7 degrees again. I'll line up with our line using our little wire. That little wire, I've just ground a point on that, and as I said, it's just a bit of blue tack. So nothing technical in it, but it does a nice job. And you can sort of wiggle this around to all sorts of places that you want to get at, and I just have it stuck up on my wall behind the mill. So handy little unit. Righto, we'll start our cuts, and we'll get this down to depth, and we'll clean up across that face, re-angulate it, and come back and finish that off. So I've just sort of zeroed this up the maximum Y direction, just to come up to that line. So we'll make a start. I'm just going to clean that burr off and just see where we are to the line. Oh yeah, just a couple of thou. We'll also come down to depth. Right. Alright, we'll reset up the angle for this one and do that final cut, and then we're done. Right, so we'll cut this other side back now, and we're going to side cut this rather than cutting on depth. So there we go. Right, we're just cutting that line now. And we'll come in another 0.2 of a mil. And we'll come back to depth as well. that's spot on. I'm happy with that. So we've got that finished out. I can't even feel the transitions in that. So we'll reset this box up and we'll start doing our drilling and tapping in this front face now that we've got this, this slot cut through. So I'll take that off, deburr it, and then we'll reset up again. Alright guys, we'll see how this goes. Been off work for a couple of days now. A few more off. One of those rip-roaring chest infections. So one of the things I hate doing is sitting around doing nothing, but unfortunately these sorts of things tend to force you into that. But what I've decided to do with some of the time is to get some of the electrics organised for this little powered head slotter. So as you know, I purchased this little 0.18 kilowatt motor. It's a little 3-phase unit that I want to be able to play around with the speeds to get the best set speed for that slotting action on the lathe. And to do that we need to use a little VFD, variable frequency drive, and I picked this bloke up off eBay a while ago. Absolutely dirt cheap. I couldn't believe my luck. It happens every now and again, but this is a little half horse unit, so quite capable of driving this this small motor. So a couple of little issues, a little bit of fault finding and a bit of understanding on the programming, but unfortunately VFDs when you're programming from one to another are quite a bit different. But anyway, it's up and going and runs very nicely, very smoothly. So I'll just flick her on. So that's at 50 Hertz, so that's a base speed about 1400 RPM. And then we can slow that right down. Now this little drive is what's called the Senseless Drive. So it will hold base motor torque down to around about 2 Hertz. That's about 3 Hertz, and I can't stop that from turning. So that's the great thing about one of these senseless drives, is that the torque doesn't drop off as the speed drops down. It maintains a constant torque, and it's also got the reverse function on as well. So I was going to hook up a little rotary switch to this and run it remotely, but I'll just do it off the keypad. So there's a little tiny jumper we put in there from 11 to 01 to allow us to operate off the key panel. If we don't do it that way, it's got to run externally. So that's that done. This is a drive that's one of the high win. I call them high win, but these are from the Chinese supermarkets. This one gave up the ghost on me. It's what I had on my 415 volt diamond grinder and carbide grinder. Couldn't even get the parameters to come up and to be able to modify them. So a bit of a pain when you've forgotten where you've written the parameter sets down for a particular machine. But anyway, we got through. I got it reprogrammed. But these units aren't a senseless drive. These get quite weak as you drop down from that base speed. And I actually had one of these running on my little CNC lathe, and it's a bit of a pain when you get a heavy cut on. It just loses all the guts. So I have purchased another drive to go on that CNC machine, a senseless drive. So yeah, bit of a pain when you're trying to cut threads and bring the cut on, and the power drops off and speed drops off, and it's all over the place. So as I said, these are really cheap. You know, you pick these up for about $100 delivered, but they do have their limitations. I had a couple of these given to me by a bloke I used to work with at a small workshop, and these are the SCW Mobitrack drives. Tried to hook this one up. As soon as I powered it up, it killed out my residual earth device, my RCD. So it killed all the power. So these have got a little EMF filter inside them. I've got to take out. Well, I'm not going to take it out. I've got a very good friend of mine that plays with massive drives, but he's well aware of the situation, knows how to go about that. So he's going to open this up and remove that EMF filter. So it might just put a bit of noise down the line and might upset the radio or something like that. But the amount of time I'd ever use these, is not going to worry me, but I'd like to get these up and going, and this is the one I'd like to maybe put on the CNC machine. So this one's 1 horse, which is what I've got the drive for that lathe. I've changed it out from a half horse single phase to a 1 horse 3 phase. This is a smaller bloke. This is once again up to a half horse. So yeah, 2 different units. Sorry, same units, but different motor capacity. So I'd like to get those two up and going, but yeah, it's been a little bit slow at the moment, being crook, which I hate, but anyway, happens to all of us. But I'm happy I was able to spend the time and get this up and going. So that's a little job out of the way. All right, we're feeling better. We'll get into some more machining activities. All right, thanks for that. Righto, guys. I just thought I'd do a follow-up from yesterday on these little VFDs, these little SEWs. I've taken over to my good mate Pete's, and it's handy when you've got the gear. He's got the vacuum suckers for taking the solder off. But each one of these drives had 3 of these filter caps inside, so they've now been removed, which is stopping that leakage back through the RCD and tripping it out. But we've got it all hooked up, we've got it all programmed, and yeah, she's a goer. So we'll just turn it on. I haven't got any of the control wiring hooked into it just yet. That's going to be more of a learning exercise. But that's great. So that's down to about 400 RPM, which I'll slide down a bit more, I think. You can feel that drive, or you can hear that drive starting to compensate for that load that I'm putting on. So you can see how these senseless drives really work well. Good still, but it is running very slow. But as I apply, I'm applying a fairly heavy load on that. The thing I like about these SCW drives, they don't have that really noisy fan running on them. So, and we've got that. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. They've worked out a treat. So, I've tested both of them. So, really happy with that. So, as I said, I got these from a bloke, Chris, I used to work with in a small workshop, and he didn't have any use for them and asked me if I'd like them, and I said I can make use of those. So they've been sitting in my cupboard for quite a few years now, so they're finally going to get some use. Alright, that's it for now. We'll be back soon. Just a bit of a sideshow to these little SEW drives that I was given. One of them had the front cover plate missing, and that's the little front cover plate there. Gives you access to your terminals, and I gave SEW, my local dealership, a ring to see if they might have had a cover that I could buy off them. So they sent me a bag with a whole lot of little brackets and a new cover. Absolutely free of charge. So the sales guy was keying a wee up at Tullamarine. So very nice of him to do that to me. And I've sent a little email off to him thanking him, and just said karma must be coming around, because I spent an awful lot of money over the years buying gearboxes and drives off SEW. It's high quality stuff. It's well backed. The service technicians that you get, with any questions you've got, get back to you almost straight away. Yeah, had no issues with SCW. A little bit pricey, obviously, maybe for the home hobbyist, but certainly industrial wise, top of the range stuff. So anyway, thank you to SCW and King Wee up at Tullamarine. Greatly appreciated, mate. All right, see ya.